What's cracking, everybody? New video. So, I think all of us have heard. I don't know. This is gonna be a different type of video for me, and you know me. I want to say stuff without saying much, but trying to say as much as I can, as much as I'm comfortable with. I know that I've gotten looser as far as topics, but I still hold true to a lot of what I believe. Um, but I think that when we tell these stories, man, and let me say, when I tell my stories and I share my experiences, you guys already know that have been with the channel that I always want to have a message, man. There has to be a meaning. There has to be a reason why I tell a story. This story is going to be a bit different. Um, so in listening to a lot of these other channels, shout out to everybody. This is in no way intentionally disrespectful to anybody. You guys know I don't get down like that. But in listening to a lot of stories on YouTube, um, one of the things that comes up a lot is how the Raza from up north, shout out to the Raza from up north, but how the Raza from up north have it rougher. That the way that they have to do time is harder than everyone else because they're outnumbered, and they always got to be on their game, and for whatever various reasons they say, right. And I want to be clear from jump. I can't disagree with another man's truth. Like when I hear Gunner say that, or anyone else, they're Raza from up north and they did time. And so they did time feeling that way, right? Um, and I'm on the outside looking in when they say stuff like that. But I do know that when I hear that, it always makes me scratch my head. Um, I don't really get um, the statements when it's put out like that. But again, this is how they did time, and this is how they feel, and that's how they felt, and it's what they believed. I can't say that they're wrong. What I can do is try to um, give a different perspective, again, without getting into inner workings of anything. But let's say this: the raza from Southern California, because of sheer numbers, are on every single level 4 and always have been. Um, the raza from down south, just like the ones from up north, are expected to be professional in their daily interactions and their daily conduct. There are things expected of them, right? The difference being is this: because there are not a lot of raza from up north, they're all expected to participate on almost the same level across the board when they're on the yards, right? Whereas the raza from down south, I don't use the terms, but we know that there's 2 terms that are used for raza from down south. Remember, in anything I ever discuss, I'm not talking about the legends. Those men I don't speak about ever, right? But the raza from down south, like I said, there's 2 terms that people know about that are thrown around on YouTube. I don't throw those titles around. But those 2 terms are there for a reason, because see, there's so many that they don't seek you out. You seek it out, if you know what I mean. They're not going to go to you and say, hey, you got to do this, and force someone into something that's so treacherous, because that's when you have people say, shit, I'm out. I don't want to have nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? It's a decision. You can go and do time and do your time, keep your nose clean. You're gonna do a pegada. Everybody's gonna do so. Everybody's gonna whack somebody at some point. But once you've done yours, if your thing is to be doing your time or just getting high, drink whatever, but you're not gonna be involved in the politics, then you're just gonna be, you're there when a riot jumps off. You're gonna participate, but you are opting out of direct politics. Everyone in prison, regardless of what you represent, you're involved in politics because what you do is connected to something bigger than you. So we'll clarify that, right? But again, the Raza from down south don't push people into certain things that they're not ready for, they don't want to be a part of, because you can't do it halfway, right? And it's understood. Now, those individuals that get involved in the politics, I kind of like, just like I said, when I hear when Gunner and them talk about their thing, I don't know. I'm on the outside looking in, but knowing how things are, when you're Raza from Southern California, how things are on the yard, I can tell you this, and this is no disrespect to anyone. And remember, now that everybody's out of the shoe on the main, everything's different now. So again, I'm never discussing those men, those legends. I'm speaking on when I was in prison, right? And I have an idea of the mentality and the thought process and the belief that the greatest threat on any yard to a vato, a raza from Southern California, is another vato from Southern California, another raza from Southern California. That is the biggest threat. It was never looked at as, oh, we got to keep our eyes on the blacks. They're the threat. No, it wasn't like that. It wasn't the raza from up north. No, they're raza, and then a lot of times they weren't always on all the yards. So, but when you have people jockeying for position, those positions that they're jockeying for are not outside of that ramfla. They're within. And that's why you see so much cannibalism. Everybody that's done time knows. Vatos from Southern California stay blasting the dog shit out of each other. Sometimes it's over a mistake. Sometimes it's over a debt. Most times it's politicking, And I don't see any other group. When I was in prison, I never saw a single other group cannibalize itself that way. So to me, it's like when you're doing time, knowing the guy you break bread with is the one that's plotting on you the most, I think that's a completely different type of doing time than anyone else is used to. And I wanted to tell this story not to disagree with anybody, but because I know that because again, I talked to Gunner, I talked to Rojo, I talked to a lot of different channels, man. And at the end of the day, we would like to see people, we would like to see them stop believing that prison is cool, that being in the streets is cool. So I felt like, I ain't gonna lie, I kicked this around in my head for about a week. Should I do something on this? Should I not? Because I don't ever want to seem as if I'm being disrespectful to anyone, especially the raza from Southern California, right? But at the same time, it's like, these kids out here in the streets that think, it's such a glorious thing to go to the joint and, this vato, my salary is going to be willing to die for me and I'm going to be willing to die for him. That's true. That's part of that life. But you may also have to kill that man, or he may have to kill you. And it may not be for the right reasons. It may. I mean, you may fucking get in a wreck, you know, but my thing is, if you go to school, even if you don't go to school, but you watch all these videos on how to be an entrepreneur, um, and you just figure out a way to avoid the streets, to avoid prison, no matter where you're from, up north, down south, Crib, Blood, Bay, wherever you're from, if you can figure out how to get the bag legitimately out here, your life will be so much more peaceful, because you don't want to wind up doing what the rest of us that have these channels did. Because, like I said in my last video, the CDC is really trying to clamp down and create an environment, and they're going to try to create situation after situation where uh, when you go in there, you're done. Make it back the way it used to be, where you go in there and you're pretty much just there to die, you know. Before California, the life sentences in California are basically the death penalty. It was just a slow death. And I think the CDC is trying their hardest to make that the reality again. And that's a big motivating factor on why I made this video today. Am I comfortable making this type of video? I'm not. Because I don't want to leave any interpretations, any misinterpretation that I'm being disrespectful to anybody, because that's not my intent. The reality is what it is, though. You know, prison is not a place to go and visit anymore. It wasn't before. For a minute, the gates were open and people were getting out. But I'm telling you right now, CDC has a plan. Stay your asses out of the streets. Read a book. Watch some damn YouTube videos on how to become a millionaire. Watch 100 of those videos and then do that. Let's put the CDC out of business that way, man, because you ain't gonna put them out of business being in the streets. All right. So with that, I'm done. Everybody stay safe, stay smart. Tell the ones you love that you love them. All right. I'm out.